All right, so now let's take a look at numbers 2 and 4. If I look at number 2, the first thing that I pick up on right away is that number 2 only has 2 terms. Now, this is unfortunate for us because that means I'm not going to be able to use the magic X or the X spot, the X to factor this. So I'm going to have another way. Now, when there's only 2 terms, instead of using the X, we can actually just factor this using GCF. Remember, GCF stands for the greatest common factor. And so it's called the greatest common factor because that's exactly what it is. I'm looking for the biggest number that divides evenly into my coefficients. So if I think about 3 and 12, the long way of doing this is to build the multiplication charts. Well, 3 is 1 times 3. 12 could be 1 times 12 or 2 times 6 or 3 times 4. Basically, the greatest common factor is the biggest number that shows up on both of my two lists right there. So if I think about it, if I look here, 3 is the biggest number on that list. Oh, and guess what? It shows up here. So the greatest common factor of 3 and 12 is 3. So I can divide a 3 out of there. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. So that's going to leave me with 1x squared. And 12 divided by 3 is going to give me 4. So I'll have 4x. So the first step is to take out the greatest common factor, which is a number. Now you're going to notice here, now I have a bunch of x's still left in here. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but now I want to see what is the greatest amount of x that I can pull out from each term. This one has 2, but whatever I take from one term, I have to take from the other, and there's only 1 in this one. So that means the biggest amount that I can take out is just 1. If I take out 1 here, I'll have 1 left. And then 4, and if I take away that one, all that's left is going to be the 4. Now, these two numbers right here, it's really important that we note that this is multiplication. So 3 times x plus 4, those are my two factors. That's going to be the factored form of this equation. Meaning, if I factor this using GCF, my factored form is going to be 3x times x plus 4. A simple way to check it is to just distribute it back in, and if you don't get what you started with, then you've done something wrong. And that is how we do this one. Take a second to pause the video, try out number 4, and then when you're ready to go over the answers, press play. Okay, so now that you had a chance to try it on your own, let's do this again. Real quick, 14 and 7. 14 and 7. Well, 14, there's 2 ways I can get it. 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. Ooh, that 7's looking suspicious because guess what? 7 is a prime number. So the greatest common factor, the biggest number that shows up on both of my two lists is 7. So when I go to do my factoring here, so when I go to pull out my greatest common factor, the biggest number that divides evenly into both of those is going to be 7. 14 divided by 7 will give me 2x squared. And then minus 1x right here. You don't have to have that 1. You could also just write minus x if you really wanted. But I think the 1 is actually kind of helpful in this case. Now I'm going to see how many x's I can pull out. Just like before, I can only take out 1. So that's going to give me 2x minus 1. Remember, that's multiplication. So those are my two factors. So I'm going to get 3x times x plus 4. Ooh, I'm writing the other one. 7x times 2x minus 1 is my factored form. Caught you on that one, didn't I? And that's how you factor using greatest common factor. That's it for this video.